Any broad statements on how investors might position their portfolios for the next 5 to 10 years, aside from buying well-run options strategies?
Yeah, yeah. I have 3 funds I'd like you to look at. No, seriously though. Look, we are in and this is not fear mongering, just it's the truth, is we are in a leveraged environment. With leverage comes potential energy and fragility. I've been talking about this for some time. This idea of kind of leptokurtic distribution, fat tails. Very few days go by, and this has been true for about 2 years, where there's not some new greatest ever or biggest thing ever. And it's not just moves in the underlying indexes, it's rotations, it's moves in bonds, it's moves in, there are different outcomes. And it's a combustible, fragile environment. And so, in that world, you want nonlinear things in the portfolio. That doesn't just mean down in the market, that mean, up in certain different products, and the ability to bet not just linearly. So I do think broadly options allow that opportunity, particularly long vol products. And I'll, that's kind of my long vol plug, which I think is, again, there's a reason why this is kind of that vol compression, which we've seen with infinite liquidity, massive leverage. When that liquidity comes off the table, really creates, it's like water sitting behind a dam, right? It can only kind of hold so far. There's a potential energy there. So I think that's an important thing to have in a portfolio. Also, again, just highlighting 68 to 82 again. In nominal terms, I think it's in policymakers' best interest to allow for the overvaluations and the malinvestment to come out of the market in a way that doesn't cause massive nominal losses, and for more gradual, real losses to be kind of the way we get through this. So I would expect, much like 68 to 82 is, when you look back over that, over the next 14 years, 10, 14 years from now, you see asset values broadly where they are now in nominal terms, but in real terms, dramatically less. So volatility, you're going to get a lot of activity and volatility in between, a lot of that crazy outcomes that you want to be able to use to improve your geometric returns, to rebalance along the way. So important to watch your tails in a hedge, but I do think there's a reflexive nature over long term of us trying to manage, policymakers and populism, all those things, to try and manage to stability. And ultimately, I think we will make it through this period. But you need to manage, inflation. You need to have commodities in the portfolio, have real discounted cash flows, and entities that have access, not only access to markets, but create their own liquidity so they can buy back their own stock, and then buy when things, malinvestment happens. Creative destruction happens. They can buy the technologies and the things. So big boats, be on that big cash flow entity. The value of money is going up. The value of cash flows in the short term are going up. Sit next to government. Government is going to be, and we're going to enter a period during populism where government is the fountain of money. We go through ebbs and flows historically of people believing in free market economics and capital markets as the best, most efficient allocator of capital. And then we go through periods where people say, well, that wasn't fair. That wasn't the best way to allocate capital. Government step in and make it more fair. And so government is going to sit, and what does government spend money on? Government spends money on healthcare. Government spends money on energy. Government spends money on defense. What does government on infrastructure, right? So what does government spend money on? Sit by the fountain of money. Where is it coming from? So sit there, and I think you'll do a lot better. Historically, that's been the case. So mind inflation, sit by that where the money's coming from, and mind your tails.